Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Tuesday, August 11th. And we are looking at it. So yesterday ended up closing with not much happening. It turned into a doldrum, boring afternoon, nothing driving the market one with the other. Just twisting in the wind, kind of action is going on there. Today, we're probably going to see more of the same, I think. I mean, there's not much news to drive the market. Yeah, the small business optimism index came in at 99. That's better than expected this morning at 6 a.m. We see existing home sales coming out at 10. That's about it. 3-year auction at 1. That's all we have got going today. Now, tomorrow, though, Wednesday, we get the CPI print. And on Thursday, we get a PPI print. So those are pretty good uh, bets that you're going to get some action, at least during the morning hours. But right now, you can see the market is being just kind of twisting in the wind here in a holding pattern. We had this move out of the middle of the ES to the upside. Looks like we are in stage 3, and we have been just going sideways, building value. And now we just start off range bound trading. That's kind of how you approach this. Range bound. Look to buy weakness, sell strength. At this point, looking to sell strength against the 77.95s, the 78.05s, 78.20s. Looking to buy weakness against, well, the 77.85 here is maybe not, kind of aggressive. Better would be 70, 65s, 50s, 40s, down to the 25s here, 77, 25s for rotations back up. So that's the range. It's the same as we talked about yesterday. You can see yesterday's trading, we didn't do much. Today's trading, who knows? We may see some action. You never know. Days like this could surprise you, but there's no news to drive the market. There's no headline news as far as I know. There's no earnings, major earnings coming out as far as I know either. So, and more of the same is I think what we're going to get today. So I'm going to start off range bound, looking to sell strength, buy weakness. If I see it start blowing through the 78.20s or take out the 77.25s, I would be more inclined to start looking for a direction. But at this point, range bound trading doesn't mean you can't go with type of trades. Just be cautious. The trades I would look for is taking out maybe the 60-65s here. A couple of days been supported there. See if they can run it down to 50. There would be a 10-point trade to the downside. But you kind of have to be careful because when they run down to test support like this, they get down there, they run stops below the obvious, they hesitate a bit, and keep going. You don't want to be getting going with on the stop run. I mean, that's usually the first thing which happens when you test the level. They run the stops, and then if there's going to be a lot more, unless there's news, of course. But I mean, if it's just normal trading, that's usually how they go about it. And sometimes you get enough stops there to start to get something going, and then you get some pile-on effect, which then causes that breakthrough. But more than often, it fails and it rotates right back up again, or right back down again. So that's the ES, range-bound trading. To get started, NASDAQ. I hate to be repetitive, but I think it's going to be more of the same there. NASDAQ, also a bunch of stuff going on there, but we are up in this upper range again, going sideways. And we are just building value again on this against this distribution. These levels are still the ones to pay attention to, and the upper level being 30,060s, 29 to 80 to 300s on the lower end of this range. A lot more range to work with, but I mean, on the NASDAQ, looking to sell strength against the 890s, 970s, up to the 30,060s, and that extra level at the 120s, talked about yesterday as well. And on the way down, looking to buy weakness against the 780s, 715s, 670s, 630s, 580s, and so on and so forth. So looking to buy weakness, sell strength, and see how far they want to see pretty much if there's any headline or anything like that which could break this out. And again, slow days like this when you don't expect much could be big doozies, and you never know. But it's we just have to see and wait and see what we get. But it's the safe assumption right now is we're going to get more of the same range-bound trading, at least to get started, and then we'll see if we get some sort of direction building. You know. Now on the NASDAQ on the way down, There's a little bit more range there. So, I mean, if you want to look for a potential short trade below that 640s, that could potentially be a start of retracing these single print Cs here on that prior distribution. Stuff like that you can look for. But I would be probably more focused on fading edges, rotation back to the mean kind of trade. Basically, our bread and butter type trade at this point, until I see something happening here or some action going on here. And the overnight since the London session has been to the upside, but you can see it's been pretty sloppy. A big pop here and then complete reversal right back down again and heading back up again. So we'll see. Now, continuation on the ES would be a move higher. There would be the bias to the upside, given that we have a move out of the middle. I had a pretty good rally here the last few days. Could be that we are pausing that right now for a bit. So there could be a bias to the upside. I would, if anything, I would probably expect the bias to the upside to develop at one point here. But it's to start the session, the trading session, I would just start off range bound and then look for it. So if it starts to materializing, yeah, well, maybe we start acting on it. But at this point, I would be not so aggressive on. I would just fade the market fairly equally. And then basically, let me see, bond market. Okay, nice move to the upside right now. They were down here in the overnight. They just retraced that a little bit. So, but you can see here's capital flow on the bonds, and you can see how this guy, they have been done. They're taking out this edge now. I mean, this is going to be less of an important edge. They have been building value there. They've been probing to the downside. And I'm just waiting for that probe down here in the 107s. I was looking at my support areas because I have support areas drawn in here. I mean, I leave them on there. I don't take them off. So you can see here, all the way down here to that 107s is the last one I have in there. That has to be some kind of a rotation back over there where they had a scare going on. But so we're probably heading back down to test the 107s is what I'm thinking. But it is a slow and it's an orderly fashion. So at this point, I would still look to sell strength. Rotations down. Right now, I would have sent this morning against the 108.18 against the 108.25s. We have taken out the 25, so I would at this point say looking for shorts against the 109.224, and above that one, I may actually start leaning in on the long side if they start moving this higher, even higher than that. So that's the way I would approach this. This guy, I'm going to adjust a little bit, and I'm going to drop in a level right here. That could be worthwhile right there. Should be a good one. All right. So that's kind of how we get started on the bonds. Right now, they'll pop to the upside. We'll see if we get some traction, but I would look for a short against that 224. And if they take that out, start retracing further than that, I would maybe try a long trade on that one. We'll see. On the cryptos, haven't done much. I took one oil trade yesterday on that one. You can see oil has been moved pretty good in the overnight. From 5 in the morning down to 7. Nice little move down here from 84 to 81. That's interesting. What drives oil is it's going to be all about what happens in that Middle Eastern situation. So not much we can do. It seems to be kind of a quiet economic squeeze going on right now. And no point of wasting ammunition or anything like that, or time and effort. You can only bomb people so much, right? And then you kind of have to dislodge something. So I think the economic pressure is probably a good way to go with that. But at least they kind of is going to just keep going the way it's going. We'll see. Time will tell what's going to be the right solution there. But right now, where the oil prices are down, and that's interesting. So the fact that oil prices is not $150 a barrel or anything like that, just tells you that oil is getting out. It's getting that straight is getting us less and less important, and it's going to just lose its power. So, and that's also one of the effects of this whole conflict. That and now pipelines are being built, oil is being produced elsewhere, and that straight is just not going to be as important as it used to be. Anyway, so that's a little side note on the crypto side of things. Ethereum, Bitcoin is just kind of back down again a bit. So that's watching it. That Clarity Act doesn't look like it obviously is not going anywhere until we get back in September sometime. So disappointing, but that's how it is. fact that the Senate can't get their stuff together is just pitiful, but it's what it is. So back to the ES and Nasdaq, and right now we are looking at that's pretty much twisting in the wind, kind of where we left it. But given the overnight, the London session overnight, you can see that both of them have retraced and traded higher, heading back up to these upper levels. If anything, you may want to look for a long bias to get started, but I would not be too so aggressive about it at this point. But if it starts developing, start seeing some action to the upside, trading it from the long side to get started until if they take out this resistance area now at the 95s and start moving higher. Same on the Nasdaq here, start taking out the 890s here, starts trading higher. Well, it may be worth trying a long trade at one point here if they grind this to the upside. So, but in the bigger picture, in the F2 picture, I would just stay range bound and watch the edges when you get to them. All right, guys, we'll wrap it there for now. So let's see if we get a fun day or it's going to be one doldrum, kind of one of those days. All right, we'll wrap it there. I'll see you back at 11:30 for the next update. Later.